Imagine an island where the jungle does not simply meet the ocean, but seems to fall straight into it. A place where volcanic peaks rise out of the rainforest with a kind of sudden force, and where empty beaches stretch for miles without a single footprint in sight. The air feels heavier here, richer, as if it carries more than just heat. It carries the scent of wet earth, salt, leaves, and rain. Clouds drift low over emerald mountains, and every bend in the road gives the impression that something undiscovered is waiting just beyond it. There are still places in the world that feel hidden, not because no one has photographed them, but because they have somehow remained outside the machinery of modern tourism. Places that have not been polished into perfection, not been reduced to a series of angles, drone shots, and familiar promises. São Tomé and Príncipe is one of those places. It is so untouched, so overlooked, that calling it the next Maldives feels both understandable and strangely insufficient. The comparison works only as a starting point, because this is not a place that feels like it is trying to be the Maldives. If anything, it offers something more elusive, and perhaps more valuable. Not perfected beauty, but something raw. Not a curated paradise, but a living one. Welcome back to Traveling Heavens. Far out in the Gulf of Guinea, off the western coast of Africa, lies one of the least visited countries on Earth. São Tomé and Príncipe, a small island nation of volcanic origin, feels from the very beginning like a place shaped by forces larger than human design. You feel that almost immediately. The land does not open gently. It rises. It folds. It surges upward into jagged peaks wrapped in rainforest, into slopes so green and dense they seem almost impenetrable. There is very little about it that feels softened or made convenient. Everything feels alive, vertical, and untamed. That is what makes the first impression so strong. In many tropical destinations, the landscape has been gradually adapted to expectation. It has been refined, organized, and made legible for visitors. Here, the opposite seems true. Nature still appears to set the terms. The islands feel raw in the best sense of the word, not unfinished, but unfiltered. They have not been remade into a version of paradise that is easy to consume. They still feel like real places first and destinations second. On São Tomé Island, the landscape shifts constantly, and with surprising intensity. One moment you are standing on a black volcanic beach, waves crashing against dark sand under a sky that feels heavy with weather. The next, you are deep in the interior, surrounded by thick rainforest and the distant sound of water moving somewhere through the trees. The transition from coast to jungle can happen almost without warning, and that constant change gives the island a strange, almost restless beauty. It never feels static. It never feels arranged. It feels like a place in motion, even when it is still. The roads reveal that character especially well. They cut through thick vegetation, often narrow and winding, and as you travel deeper inland, it begins to feel as though the forest is slowly reclaiming everything around you. Leaves brush against the sides of the road. Mist drifts through unexpectedly. The noise of the outside world begins to disappear. What replaces it is quieter, but more intense. The sound of insects, birds, distant water, and wind moving through dense green becomes its own kind of atmosphere. You do not simply look at the landscape here, you move inside it. This is where many travelers begin, in the interior of São Tomé, especially within Ôbo Natural Park, one of the island's most extraordinary regions. The park is vast, protected, and almost prehistoric in feeling. Its rainforest seems to belong to another time, dense with life, layered in sound, and so saturated with green that it can feel almost unreal. The air is humid and heavy, filled with the presence of unseen movement in the canopy above. Trails lead through this wilderness toward viewpoints that seem to suspend you between land and sky. You emerge from the forest and suddenly find yourself above a sea of green, with clouds drifting low across the mountains, sometimes even below you. There is something disorienting and beautiful about that perspective, as if the island has momentarily lifted you out of itself so you can understand its scale. And then there are the waterfalls, which do not present themselves as attractions in the conventional sense, but as discoveries. They appear without ceremony, hidden in the jungle, not staged or overly signposted, simply existing within the landscape as though waiting to be stumbled upon. You hear them first, somewhere beyond the trees, and then the forest opens and the water is there, rushing through rock and vegetation, with a force that feels entirely its own. That is one of the defining experiences of São Tomé. Its beauty is not handed over all at once. It reveals itself gradually, through movement, through curiosity, through the willingness to go a little farther. Yet as remarkable as São Tomé is, there is a moment in this journey when the experience shifts, and that moment comes when you cross over to Principe. Because Principe does not simply feel remote, it feels secret. Smaller, quieter, and even less touched by development, Principe is often described as one of the most beautiful islands on Earth. And when you arrive, the statement does not feel exaggerated. If anything, it feels incomplete. What makes the island so memorable is not just its beauty, but the quality of that beauty. It does not feel spectacular in an obvious or theatrical way. It feels intimate, concentrated, and almost protected from the pace of the modern world. The jungle here feels thicker. The silence feels deeper. The beaches feel almost impossible in their stillness and isolation. Praia, perhaps the island's most iconic shoreline, curves with such natural perfection along calm turquoise water that it can appear almost designed. Dense vegetation frames the sand so closely that the jungle seems to spill directly into the sea. It is the kind of place that photographs beautifully, but photography alone cannot quite explain why it lingers in the mind. The stillness matters, the scale matters, the absence of interruption matters. Then there is Praia, more rugged and more secluded, a place where the sense of distance from the rest of the world becomes even stronger. You can walk there for long stretches without seeing another person, with only waves, wind, and trees around you. In places like this, isolation stops feeling like a lack of something and begins to feel like a luxury in itself. Not the polished luxury of service and design, but the rarer luxury of space, silence, and the feeling that nothing is demanding anything from you. And this is where the comparison to the Maldives begins to fall apart. The Maldives is beautiful, undeniably so. But its beauty is highly refined. It is curated, controlled, and carefully presented. Every detail is designed to deliver a certain kind of experience, one based on effortless elegance and perfected tropical escape. São Tomé and Príncipe offers something fundamentally different. Its beauty is not curated, it is wild. It is not controlled into perfection. It remains unpredictable, sometimes dramatic, sometimes soft, sometimes even messy, but always real. That distinction matters because it changes the way a place makes you feel. In the Maldives, the experience often lies in surrendering to a world that has already been beautifully arranged for you. In São Tomé and Príncipe, the experience lies in discovering a world that still feels partially unknown. Plans begin to matter less here. A simple drive becomes memorable because of what you happen to find along the way. A path you had not planned to take leads to a hidden beach. A stop for a view turns into the moment you remember most. The islands do not seem interested in impressing you directly, and that is precisely why they do. What is equally compelling is that for those seeking comfort, something close to luxury still exists here, just in a very different form. Here, high-end stays are not about massive resorts or overbuilt glamour, but about serene villas tucked between jungle and sea, infinity pools opening onto endless green or ocean blue, and a level of privacy that feels almost unreal. The luxury here feels softened by nature, not imposed on it. Spaces are designed to feel calm, open, and deeply immersive. Where light pours in, the landscape is always present, and the boundary between indoors and outdoors seems to disappear. It is a kind of luxury rooted less in spectacle and more in atmosphere, silence, and the rare sensation of having paradise almost entirely to yourself. Alongside these refined retreats, the restored Roças add another layer to the experience. Once central to the island's cocoa history, they now offer stays rich in atmosphere and character, where colonial architecture, aged wood, open verandas, and endless greenery create something deeply cinematic. There are also small eco-lodges tucked between rainforest and ocean, designed not to stand out, but to dissolve into their surroundings. You wake to the sound of birds and surf, and at night the silence is so complete that it feels almost unfamiliar. No crowds, no artificial noise, no steady hum of a tourist world running in the background. But what elevates São Tomé and Príncipe beyond scenery and accommodation is not just what you see, it is what the place allows you to feel. This remains one of those rare destinations where tourism has not yet overtaken identity. Local life does not appear to exist for display. Villages still feel lived in rather than arranged. Fishermen head out at sunrise in small wooden boats, moving across the water in rhythms that predate tourism entirely. Life on the islands continues at its own pace, and that pace is slow, steady, and deeply tied to the land and the sea. There is a kind of integrity in that, and travellers feel it, even if they cannot immediately name it. That simplicity extends into the food as well. Fresh fish, often caught the same day, carries a clarity of flavour that speaks for itself. Tropical fruits taste richer and more intense than the versions most people know elsewhere. And then there is the cocoa, one of the island's most famous treasures. São Tomé and Príncipe is often called the Chocolate Islands, and once you try the chocolate there, the nickname stops sounding poetic and starts sounding accurate. The volcanic soil, the climate, and the long history of cocoa cultivation all come together in a way that makes the experience feel distinctly tied to place. Even something as familiar as chocolate feels newly expressive. Part of what preserves all of this is that getting here still requires intention. There are no massive waves of tourism arriving every hour, no constant stream of visitors flattening the experience into predictability. Most journeys pass through Lisbon before continuing to São Tomé, and from there, a short domestic flight takes you onward to Principe, where the feeling of remoteness deepens even further. It is not the easiest destination to reach, and in a strange way, that difficulty is part of its protection. It preserves the islands from the kind of exposure that so often transforms a place beyond recognition. So, is it better than the Maldives? That depends entirely on what you believe paradise should feel like. If you are looking for polished luxury, overwater villas, and an experience built around seamless beauty and comfort, the Maldives will always offer that at the highest level. But if what you want is something deeper, something less manufactured and more alive, then São Tomé and Príncipe offers a kind of richness the Maldives cannot replicate. It offers the feeling of exploration. It offers the sense that you have stepped into a place the world has not fully touched yet. It offers surprise, mystery, and the quiet thrill of not always knowing what lies around the next corner. And in a world where almost everywhere has already been seen, photographed, categorized, and shared, that may be the rarest luxury of all. Not perfection, but discovery. Not performance, but presence. Not the feeling that everything has been prepared for you, but the feeling that something is still waiting to be found. This has been Traveling Heavens. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next heaven.